Wake up and win the day. Good morning. Imagine a battle. A silent, unseen battle. It happens every single day. For billions of people. And it happens right when they wake up. Before their feet even touch the floor. Before the sun has fully stretched across the sky. This is the battle against laziness. And you want to know the fastest, most effective way to absolutely destroy it? To obliterate it from your life? I'll tell you the secret. It's surprisingly simple. Yet profoundly powerful. The secret is this. Do not start your day like 95% of the world. Let that sink in for a moment. 95%. A staggering majority. A vast ocean of humanity. They are losing this battle. Every single morning. And they are losing it before they even get out of bed. Think about that percentage. It's not a small margin. It's an overwhelming landslide. They wake up. Their eyes flutter open. Their minds are just beginning to stir. And what's the very first thing they reach for? What's the initial point of contact for their awakening consciousness? It's almost universally the same object. Their phone. That glowing rectangle of digital information. And what does that phone immediately present to them? A deluge. A cascade of incoming data. Emails, perhaps urgent, perhaps trivial. Instagram notifications. Updates from social media. Messages from people who, frankly, don't pay your bills. Who don't contribute to your core life goals. Who are simply part of the external noise. And then, later, these same people wonder. They scratch their heads. They express confusion. They ask themselves, why do I feel so tired? Why am I so distracted? Why do I feel so unmotivated by 10 a.m.? The answer, my friends, is staring them right in the face. Or more accurately, it's staring back at them from their phone screen. Their morning was already lost. The battle was conceded. Before it even truly began. Let me drop a truth bomb on you right now. A fundamental, undeniable truth. Laziness is not a disease. It's not an illness you catch. It's not a genetic predisposition you're stuck with. No. Laziness is a decision. Let me repeat that. Laziness is a decision. It is a conscious, or often subconscious, choice. And here's the critical part. This decision. This pivotal, day-shaping decision. It happens first thing in the morning. It happens in those precious, pristine moments of awakening. Before the chaos of the world fully intrudes. Before the demands begin to pile up. Before you even swing your legs out from under the covers. This is where the battle is won or lost. This is where the decision is made. To be lazy. Or to be unstoppable. So, how do we shift this paradigm? How do we break free from the 95% who are losing before sunrise? It starts with intentionality. For me, when I wake up, there's a deliberate process. I do not reach for the phone. The phone is not my first point of contact. My hand doesn't instinctively grab it from the nightstand. Instead, I reach for something far more valuable. I reach for a goal. I reach for my purpose. I engage my mind with a critical question. A question that changes everything. I ask myself, with clarity and focus, why am I waking up today? Notice the emphasis there. It's not, what do I need to do? That question, what do I need to do, is about tasks. It's about obligation. It's about the endless to-do list that can often feel overwhelming. It's reactive. No. The profound question is, why do I need to do it? This why question is about purpose. It's about meaning. It's about the deeper reason behind the actions. It connects you to something larger than just the immediate chore. It ignites a spark. It provides direction. It gives your morning and your entire day a foundational anchor. You don't need to accomplish 100 monumental things in the morning. That's a common misconception. Many people think they need to overhaul their entire life in the first hour. They aim for perfection. They aim for an Olympic-level start to their day. And then they fail. And then they feel defeated. No. You don't need to do 100 things. You just need to do one thing right. One small, correct action. One purposeful step. Let's break down what these one things could look like. They are deceptively simple, yet immensely powerful. The first could be, make your bed. It sounds trivial, doesn't it? A mundane chore. Something your parents might have nagged you about as a child. But think about it. It's a micro-win. It's the first completed task of your day. Before you even leave your bedroom, you have achieved something. You've brought order to a small part of your world. You've created a sense of accomplishment. You've told your brain, I start and I finish. Another simple, powerful action. Drink a glass of water. Hydrate your body. Flush out the toxins from sleep. Prepare your internal systems for the day ahead. It's a physical act of self-care. A conscious decision to fuel your body, which in turn fuels your mind. It wakes up your metabolism. It sends a signal of vitality. And how about this one? Read one paragraph of something that grows your mind early. Just one paragraph. Not a chapter. Not an entire book. One single paragraph from a book that inspires you. A piece of wisdom. A motivational quote. A concept that sparks curiosity or learning. This is feeding your mind. It's an act of intellectual nourishment. It sets a tone of growth and expansion for the day. It's about consuming valuable input, rather than passively receiving noise. Why are these small actions so incredibly effective? Because winning is a habit. Think about that deeply. Success isn't just about grand achievements. It's about the consistent repetition of small, victorious actions. Each tiny win builds on the last. It creates a cascade of positive momentum. And just as winning is a habit, so is losing. If your first action of the day is to engage with distraction, if your first win is to scroll through social media, then you are inadvertently training your brain to seek out passive consumption and external validation as its default mode. You are creating a habit of losing. A habit of reactivity. So choose your first actions wisely. They are the foundational bricks of your day. You want energy? Real, sustained, vibrant energy? Energy that doesn't come from caffeine or sugar crashes? Energy that fuels your focus and sharpens your mind? Then listen closely. Move your body. It's that simple. It sounds counterintuitive to some. I'm tired, they say. I don't have the energy to move. But that's precisely the trap. You don't get energy by sitting still and waiting for it to appear. You generate energy through action. Even 5 push-ups. Just 5. Get down on the floor. Push your body up and down. Feel the muscles engage. Feel the blood flow. Even 5 minutes of movement. Set a timer. 5 minutes. Do some stretches. Walk around your room. Do some jumping jacks. Dance to a song. The specific exercise isn't as important as the act of initiating movement. Because here's the core truth. You're not truly tired. Not in the way you might think. You're stale. Your body and mind have been dormant. They've been in a state of rest. And while rest is essential, prolonged stillness leads to stagnation. Think of a car engine. When it sits idle for too long, it struggles to start. The oil settles. The parts get stiff. But once you turn the key, even for a short drive, everything begins to hum. Your body is the same. Movement. It creates momentum. It's the spark plug for your internal engine. When you move, even minimally, you send a powerful signal to your brain. A signal of activation. A signal of readiness. Blood begins to circulate more efficiently. Oxygen floods your brain cells. Your nervous system awakens. Endorphins are released. And suddenly, that sluggish, foggy feeling begins to dissipate. You feel a shift. A subtle but undeniable surge of vitality. This is the power of momentum. It's not just physical. It's mental. It's emotional. It's the antidote to inertia. To that heavy feeling of I don't feel like it. So, before the world attacks you with its demands, before your inbox lights up, before your schedule dictates your every move, you attack the day. You launch your own offensive. You take proactive control. And how do you do that, specifically? You plan it. You define your intentions. You don't just let the day happen to you. You make it happen for you. Grab a pen. Grab a piece of paper. Or open a simple digital note. And write down your top 3 tasks for the day. Just 3. Not 20. Not an overwhelming list of everything you could possibly do. 3 key tasks. These are the activities that will move the needle forward. The ones that are most important. The ones that align with your purpose. And here's the magic. This is where the real transformation happens. This is the secret weapon against procrastination and laziness. Do the hardest one first. Yes. You heard me right. The one you hate. The one that fills you with dread. The one you've been pushing to the afternoon. The one you've been deferring to the evening. The one you've conveniently decided can wait until tomorrow. Do that one first. Why? Because your brain is fresh. In the morning, especially in those early hours after waking and engaging in some light movement, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, planning, and willpower, is at its peak. It hasn't been drained by a day of decisions. It hasn't been cluttered by distractions. It's clean. It's sharp. It's ready. Do it while your competitors are still snoozing. While they're still hitting the snooze button. While they're still scrolling mindlessly through their feeds. While they're still debating whether to get out of bed. You are already engaged. You are already advancing. You are already building an insurmountable lead. Because the difference between average and unstoppable is not intelligence. It's not raw talent. It's not superior connections or resources. It's discipline. It's the unwavering commitment to do what needs to be done. Even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Laziness. That insidious, creeping force. It dies the moment you stop thinking about what you feel like doing. And start doing what you know you should do. This is the hinge point. This is the moment of truth. It's the shift from emotional reaction to logical action. It's the triumph of intention over inertia. So tomorrow morning. And every morning thereafter. Don't be soft. Don't succumb to the fleeting comfort of procrastination. Don't negotiate with your excuses. Don't engage in a mental debate with that little voice that whispers, just 5 more minutes, or you can do it later. Stand up. Move your body. Choose one small win. One tiny, achievable victory. Make your bed. Drink that water. Do those 5 push-ups. And then, chase your purpose like your life depends on it. Because in so many ways, it truly does. Your daily actions, your morning habits, are the threads that weave the tapestry of your entire life. To lose the morning is to risk losing the day. To lose the day is to risk losing weeks, months, years. And ultimately, to risk losing the life you aspire to live. The life you truly deserve. Let's go deeper into this phone issue. Because it's a critical point of leakage. A massive drain on potential. What's the very first thing you touch in the morning? Truly reflect on that. For most people, the answer isn't their toothbrush. It's not a healthy glass of water. It's not a stimulating book. It's not a thought-provoking journal. It's their phone. Now, think about the profound implications of that single, seemingly innocuous action. You've just opened your eyes. Your brain. It's fresh. It's rested. It's a clean slate. Your heart rate is calm. Your nervous system is relaxed. You are in your most focused, your most untouched, your most clear state. It's a state of pure potential. A golden hour of mental clarity. A quiet sanctuary for intentional thought. And the very first thing you allow into that pristine, powerful mind? Noise. An instant deluge of external demands. Distractions. Other people's opinions. Other people's agendas. The news cycle. The drama of the world. The endless scroll of manufactured content. You didn't even decide what kind of day you wanted to have yet. You haven't set your own internal compass. You haven't defined your personal priorities. And already, in those first precious seconds, you've handed over your focus. Your attention. Your most valuable mental real estate. To the outside world. To whoever or whatever is broadcasting through that device. What kind of power is that? What kind of control are you ceding? That little rectangle in your hand isn't just a tool. It's often disguised as a tool. But in the wrong hands, or at the wrong time, it transforms. It becomes a thief. A relentless, cunning thief. It steals your attention. It fragments your focus into 1,000 tiny pieces. It steals your clarity. It muddies the pristine waters of your morning mind. It injects anxiety and reactivity before you've even had a chance to breathe. And most importantly, it steals your purpose. It diverts your gaze from your own path. It whispers urgent trivialities into your ear. It makes you forget why you got out of bed. Let me tell you something I've learned from studying and interacting with highly successful people. People who built companies from nothing into empires. People who changed entire industries. People who impacted millions of lives through their vision and execution. Their morning ritual is fundamentally different. They don't start their day reacting. They don't allow external forces to dictate their initial state. They start with intention. They start with a clear, defined purpose. They begin with why. Not with how. The how of the tasks, the methods, the execution, will naturally flow once the why is firmly established. But if you start with how without a why, you're merely a busy ant. Running in circles. Working hard, but perhaps on the wrong things. Or worse, on someone else's agenda. Let's demystify purpose for a moment. Purpose is not some mystical, ethereal thing. It's not an abstract concept only achievable by gurus or spiritual leaders. It's not something you find only after attending a transformative TED Talk. It's not a lofty life philosophy that looks great when written on your wall and then forgotten. No. At its core, purpose is about a simple decision. A daily, conscious choice. It boils down to one fundamental question. What am I waking up for today? Again, notice the difference. It's not about what you have to do. The obligations. The duties. The tasks that are externally imposed. Instead, it's about what you want to build. What you want to change. What you want to move forward in your life. This is an internal question. It's self-directed. It's about agency. It's about charting your own course. That question, when asked every single morning, consistently, deliberately, is not just a query. It is a commitment. It is a compass. It points you in a direction. It aligns your internal state with your external actions. Think about the alternative. If you start your day by scrolling, by passively consuming, you've already sent a clear, undeniable message to your brain. An instruction, really. You've told your brain, I'm not in charge here. The world is in charge. Distract me. Tell me how to think. Tell me what to care about. Tell me where to direct my precious energy. You become a leaf in the wind, blown by every gust of external notification. But when you start with purpose, when you start with that intentional question, with a clearly defined goal, or even just a powerful, written thought, you are actively reminding yourself, this is my life. This is my time. And I decide where it goes. This is not just motivational fluff. This is a deep neurological reprogramming. You are training your brain. You are building new neural pathways. You are shifting your default mode from reactive consumption to proactive creation. Here's a habit I dare you to try. A challenge for yourself. Try it for just 1 week. It's a simple, yet profoundly transformative experiment. When you wake up in the morning, for the first 30 minutes, do not touch your phone. Just for 30 minutes. It sounds easy, but for many, it's a radical departure from ingrained habit. Instead of reaching for your phone, keep a pen and a small notebook or a piece of paper next to your bed. And before your feet even hit the floor, before you fully engage with the day's physical demands, write this down. What do I want to accomplish today? Why does that matter to me? Don't overthink it. Don't try to make it some deep, philosophical revelation every single day. Just make it real. Make it tangible. Make it relevant to your current life. Perhaps your purpose today is simply to complete that challenging project at work. To finally push it across the finish line. Maybe it's to show up fully present and engaged in that important meeting. To truly listen. To contribute thoughtfully. To make a real impact. Maybe it's something personal. To stop being lazy and genuinely commit to getting in shape. To finally start that exercise routine. To prepare that healthy meal you've been putting off. It doesn't have to be glamorous. It doesn't need external validation. It just has to be yours. It has to resonate with your goals, your values, your aspirations for your life. Let's get practical for a moment. Let's talk about the immediate physiological and psychological impact. Do you truly understand what checking your phone first thing in the morning does to your brain? It immediately, almost violently, puts you into reactive mode. Think about it. One moment, you're transitioning from the peaceful state of sleep. Your brainwaves are slow and restorative. Your body is at rest. The next moment, you're bombarded with external stimuli. A sudden shift. From peaceful to alert to potentially overwhelmed. Your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. It spikes. Anxiety levels rise. And you haven't even gotten out of bed yet. You haven't even brushed your teeth. Instead of focusing on what truly matters to your long-term success and well-being, you're suddenly thinking about 10 things that don't matter. A random news alert about something you can't control. A viral meme that offers no value to your life. A notification about someone else's fleeting activity. You've traded your carefully chosen direction, your deliberate focus, for a cheap, fleeting dopamine hit. The instant gratification of a notification. The result? By 9 a.m., barely a few hours into your day, you feel drained. You feel distracted. You feel a sense of mental exhaustion. And you don't even know why. You didn't spend your energy deliberately. It wasn't invested in productive tasks. No. It was leaked out of you. Dripped away in micro moments of distraction. Siphoned off by the demands of the digital world. If you want to destroy laziness, truly annihilate it,
You start by refusing to hand your most valuable asset, your brain, to an algorithm. You refuse to be passively programmed by external forces.
Purpose is a muscle. Think of it like that. Just like any muscle in your body.
It grows with repetition.
The more mornings you wake up. And begin with clarity. With intentionality. The stronger your discipline becomes.
You begin to remember what actually matters.
You start to distinguish between urgent and important.
You stop comparing your unique timeline with someone else's carefully curated highlight reel on social media.
You stop absorbing content you didn't ask for. Content that doesn't serve your growth. Content that simply fills the void. You begin to control your time. You reclaim ownership of your precious minutes. You begin to control your actions. Each step becomes deliberate. Each choice becomes aligned. And eventually, you begin to control your results. Your phone can wait. The notifications can wait. The emails can wait. The messages from others can wait. They are rarely as urgent as they seem. But your purpose? Your vision for your life? Your intentional direction for the day? That cannot wait. That must be prioritized. That must be activated first. This is the foundation upon which true productivity and meaning are built. Many people mistakenly believe that success begins with a seismic event. $1 billion idea. A massive funding round. A huge following on social media. Instant fame. No. That's often the result of consistent small actions.
Success doesn't start with those grand, public milestones.
It starts with one small win. Just one. And then another. And then another.
Think of it like building a magnificent structure.
You don't start by placing the gargoyle on the roof. You start with the first brick. Then the second. Then the third. Each perfectly laid brick builds upon the last. Laziness isn't just the absence of action. It's deeper than that. It's the absence of momentum. When people say, "I feel stuck," what they usually mean, deep down, is something more specific. I haven't won in a long time. And I'm not talking about winning the lottery.
Or securing a major promotion at work. I'm talking about small, invisible, everyday victories. The kind of wins that nobody claps for. The kind that don't make headlines. But these are the very wins that fuel your internal fire. More powerfully than you realize. These are the quiet, private triumphs that build self-trust. Let's revisit some of those micro-actions we discussed earlier. You wake up. And you make your bed. That, my friend, is a win. A tangible, visible victory in your immediate environment. You drink a full glass of water. That's a win for your body. A win for your health. You go for a brisk walk instead of hitting the snooze button for the 5th time. That's a win against inertia. A win for your physical and mental well-being. You write your to-do list before breakfast. Before the day hijacks your focus. That's a win for clarity. A win for planning. When these actions are viewed in isolation, they seem small. They seem almost insignificant. They seem like they don't matter in the grand scheme of your ambitious goals. But stack them up. One after the other. Consistently. And what you have isn't just a series of productive micro-moments. What you've built is something far more powerful. You've built momentum. And momentum, that unstoppable, self-perpetuating force, is precisely what destroys laziness. Why? Because energy isn't something you wait for. It's not a magical substance that descends upon you when you feel motivated. No. Energy is something you generate. Through action. It's the byproduct of progress. People often say, "I don't feel motivated. I just can't get myself to start." Of course, you don't feel motivated.
Because motivation isn't the cause of action. It's the effect. It's the result of doing something. You don't wait for energy to appear before you act. You act to create energy. Think of your brain like a finely tuned machine. When it's idle for too long, when it sits stagnant, it rusts. It becomes sluggish. The gears seize up. The circuits become fuzzy. But turn it on. With just one gear. One tiny micro-action. One single, deliberate step. And the whole system starts to move. The lubricants flow. The mechanisms engage. The power hums. You don't need to run a marathon on day one. Just take the first step out the door. You don't need to write an entire book today. Just commit to writing one sentence. You don't need to build a multi-million-dollar business in a single morning. Just make the first crucial phone call. And here's where most people get it wrong. This is the fundamental misstep that derails countless good intentions. They aim too big. Too fast. They have these grand, unrealistic expectations for their immediate transformation. They tell themselves, tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. sharp. I'll run 10 miles before breakfast. Then I'll meditate for an hour, perfectly still. After that, I'll read 50 pages of a complex book. Then I'll fast until lunch. And by noon, I'll have cultivated a 7-figure mindset. What inevitably happens when you set such an impossible, overnight standard? They fail. They fail spectacularly. Often by 6:30 a.m. Barely an hour into their ambitious plan. And then, what creeps in? Shame. Self-recrimination. The inner critic begins its relentless assault. I can't do this. I'm just lazy. I'm not like those other disciplined, successful people. There must be something fundamentally wrong with me. No. This is not a reflection of your inherent laziness or lack of ability. You're simply trying to win a marathon before you've even learned to walk. You're trying to build a skyscraper without laying a proper foundation. Instead, the true genius lies in building identity. Building a new sense of self. An identity that says, I am someone who follows through. And you build this identity with wins so small, so undeniably tiny, that you cannot fail. You literally cannot fail at them. You make a promise to yourself. A minuscule, achievable promise. And then you keep it. That's it. That simple, repetitive act of promising and delivering. That's what fundamentally changes how you see yourself. It's not external validation. It's internal proof. That's what builds confidence. With each kept promise, your internal narrative shifts. I am someone who shows up. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who commits and delivers. This isn't some fuzzy, feel-good psychology fluff. This is tangible, observable brain science. When you successfully complete a task, any task, no matter how small, your brain releases a hit of dopamine, a powerful neurochemical reward. It's your brain's way of saying, that felt good. Let's do more of that. It's a built-in reinforcement mechanism. One win leads to another. The dopamine loop begins to spin. Energy increases. Your mental capacity expands. Focus sharpens. And soon, the very thing that felt impossible, the daunting task that loomed large, now feels automatic. It feels effortless. It becomes part of your new identity. Do you know how elite performers operate? The top athletes, the world-class musicians, the visionary entrepreneurs. They don't chase pressure. They don't solely rely on bursts of intense, unsustainable effort. No. They chase rhythm. They chase consistency. They understand a profound truth. The magic isn't in intensity. The magic is in consistency. Think of it like a row of dominoes. One domino knocks down the next. And that one knocks down the next, creating an incredible, unstoppable chain reaction. But you have to set up the first one. You have to initiate that initial, small push. You have to realize that energy is not a prerequisite for progress. Rather, energy is a byproduct of progress. It's not something you need to have before you start. It's something you create by starting. If you sit around waiting for the perfect moment, waiting to feel ready, waiting for a surge of external motivation to strike, you will lose days. You will lose weeks. You will lose months. You will lose even years. Time will simply slip through your fingers. But if you start small, if you commit to just one task, no matter how tiny, you will feel that shift, that undeniable spark. You will transition from zero, from stagnation, to motion. And that motion, that beautifully generated momentum, will carry you further than willpower alone ever could. Willpower is finite. It's a limited resource. It gets depleted throughout the day. But momentum? Momentum is self-sustaining. It builds on itself. Forget about being perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress. It's a paralyzing ideal that prevents you from even starting. Forget about being impressive. Don't worry about what others will think. Focus on your own internal metrics of success. Instead, be progressive. Just keep moving forward. Be in movement. Physical movement. Mental movement. Do something so small, so utterly insignificant in its scale, that it's impossible to say no to it. Make it non-negotiable. Make it a micro-commitment that you absolutely cannot fail to achieve. That's how you beat the voice. The insidious, whispering voice inside your head. The one that says, "I'm tired, I'll do it later." Or, "What's the point? It won't make a difference." You silence that voice. You crush it. With one simple, undeniable answer. I just did something. An action. A completed task. A small, deliberate step forward. And that, my friend, is your unbeatable shield against laziness. There's a deep, ancient wisdom to this. A fundamental understanding that modern life often overlooks. There's a reason ancient warriors, throughout history, trained their bodies before they fought. Before they faced their enemies on the battlefield. They didn't just strategize. They didn't just mentally prepare. They honed their physical instruments. There's a reason world-class CEOs, the titans of industry, hit the gym. Or engage in intense physical activity. Before they hit the boardroom. Before they make billion-dollar decisions. Before they lead their empires. And there's a reason you feel stuck. Sluggish. And mentally foggy. Before your first cup of coffee. Before your brain fully kicks into gear. The answer is simple. Your body is your first tool. It is your primary instrument for navigating the world. It is the vessel for your mind, your emotions, your will. Not your phone. Not your laptop. Not your meticulously crafted to-do list. Your body. You want clarity? Move. Physical movement clears the cobwebs from your mind. You want energy? Move. Physical movement generates the very energy you crave. You want to destroy laziness? To obliterate excuses? To elevate low self-esteem? Move your body. Laziness doesn't always, or even primarily, start in the brain. It often starts in the body. Think about it. When you stay still for too long. When you are sedentary. Your physical energy drops. Your circulation slows. Your muscles stiffen. And then, naturally, your mental sharpness fades. Your focus dissipates.
And you begin to convince yourself that you're not in the mood.
You construct elaborate mental excuses. I'm just not feeling it today. I'll be more productive tomorrow. My brain isn't working.
But here's the profound truth.
Motion leads to emotion.
The fastest, most direct way to change how you feel, to shift your emotional state,
is to change what your body is doing. Your brain listens to your body more intimately, more powerfully than you might ever realize.
If your shoulders are slumped,
if your breathing is shallow,
if your spine is curled over a phone, mimicking a posture of submission or defeat,
don't be surprised when your mind starts thinking small, lazy, and negative thoughts.
Your physical posture directly influences your mental state.
Physical stillness leads to mental fog. It's a direct causal link. But even 1 minute of movement, even just standing tall, pulling your shoulders back, taking a deep, expansive breath,
sends an immediate, powerful signal to your brain.
We're alive. We're capable. We're in control.
You don't need a full, grueling gym session at 5 a.m.
That's an ideal that often becomes an excuse for inaction.
You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need expensive workout gear.
What you need is to break the inertia. That's the key.
To overcome the initial resistance of stillness.
Start with 10 jumping jacks. Just 10. Start with 5 push-ups. Just 5.
Start with a 30-second stretch.
Reach for the sky. Touch your toes. Twist your torso. Start by simply walking. Just walking around your living room.
Or stepping outside for a few paces.
While you walk, repeat your intention for the day out loud. Vocalize your purpose. Today, I am productive. Today, I am focused. Today, I move forward. You're not trying to become an Olympic athlete in 5 minutes. You're trying to wake up your system. To activate your internal mechanisms. When you move, blood flows.
It rushes through your veins.
It carries vital nutrients. When blood flows, oxygen hits your brain,
your most important organ.
When oxygen hits your brain, you think clearer. You think faster. You think smarter. Do you know what most people do when they feel mentally foggy? When their brain feels sluggish? They open another app. They grab more caffeine.
They stare blankly at a screen.
Hoping, wishing, praying for a spark of motivation. But motivation doesn't come from sitting still. It comes from activation. It comes from putting your body into motion. Your body is not a decoration. It's not just something to be admired or clothed. It's a machine. A complex, powerful, incredible machine. And when it sits idle, it begins to decay. Physically, yes. But also mentally. You think better when your blood moves. When your body is in flow.
You learn faster when your posture is open. When you stand tall and confident.
You solve problems faster when you've been sweating. Even just a little. When your body has been activated. High performers, the ones who consistently achieve greatness, they know this. They deeply understand this principle. They use their body like a tool. A strategic asset. Not a burden. They don't say, I don't feel like moving today. That's the amateur mindset. Instead, their mantra is different. They say, I move so that I feel ready. It's a profound shift in mindset. From passive to active. From reactive to intentional. And it's not just about energy. It's about confidence. When you move your body first thing in the morning, even minimally,
you are sending a powerful, undeniable signal to yourself.
A self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not lazy. I'm not stuck. I'm not here to just coast through life. I move, therefore I progress. Even 5 minutes of dedicated body movement changes your entire state. Stretching loosens your mindset. It releases tension.
It creates flexibility not just in your muscles, but in your thinking.
Shadow boxing. Punching the air. Clears frustration. Releases pent-up energy. Provides a healthy outlet for aggression or stress. Walking. Just putting one foot in front of the other. Allows ideas to surface. It unlocks creativity. It provides clarity. This is not about fitness in the traditional sense. This is about focus.
This is about priming your mind to operate at its highest, most optimal level. Before the world gets noisy. Before the distractions begin to pile up.
It's about clearing out the mental fog. That murky, sluggish feeling that builds up overnight. And replacing it. Replacing it with strength. With presence. With undeniable clarity. When you neglect the body. When you ignore its signals. The mind follows. It becomes sluggish. It becomes unfocused.
But when you engage the body,
when you activate it, the mind obeys. It sharpens. It becomes alert. The two are not separate entities. They are synchronized systems. Interconnected. Interdependent. You can't think sharply. You can't operate at your peak cognitive capacity if your body is soft, stiff, and sluggish. It's a contradiction. You can't dominate your day. You can't lead with authority if you haven't even stood up and taken charge of your own posture, your own physical presence. You can't create momentum, that powerful, forward-moving force, while remaining physically motionless. The body is the gateway to the mind. Activate one, and the other will follow. If you don't decide how your day will go, if you don't intentionally chart its course, then someone else will. Someone, or something, will fill that vacuum. And they won't ask for your permission. It could be your boss's unexpected emergency. Suddenly, their urgent task becomes your top priority. It could be your friend's drama. A crisis that demands your immediate emotional investment. It could be the relentless news cycle, pulling your attention to global events you can't control. A random text message. An unexpected notification. Each one a tiny, digital tug on your attention. If you don't design your day, if you don't put your stamp on it, your day will design you. It will mold you. It will dictate your actions. And I can guarantee you this. It will not be in your favor. It will not align with your deepest desires or your most important goals. That's not just abstract philosophy. That's real-world execution. That's how people lose years of their lives. Drifting from one distraction to the next. One emergency to the next. You might think to yourself, I'm too busy to plan. I don't have time to map out my day. Let me tell you what's actually expensive. What truly costs you. Reacting all day long. That's expensive. Waking up and immediately checking emails. Before you even know what your own top priorities are. Before you've decided what truly matters to you. That's expensive. Starting work without knowing what done looks like. Without a clear definition of success for the day. Without a finish line in sight. That's expensive. Letting everyone else's problems, everyone else's demands, jump the line. In front of your own goals. In front of your own aspirations. In front of your own well-being. That's the most expensive thing of all. Because it costs you your life. Minute by minute. Hour by hour. Day by day. Here's the stark truth. Most people wake up. And they just hope the day goes well. They cross their fingers. They hope they get lucky. They hope they stay focused.
They hope nothing bad happens.
That's not strategy. That's not intentional living. That's gambling. You're playing dice with your precious, non-renewable resource, time. High performers. The individuals who consistently achieve extraordinary results. They don't gamble with time. They allocate it. They treat it like a valuable currency. They don't just passively see how the day unfolds. They actively fold the day. They shape it. They bend it to fit their goals. You don't need a fancy app. You don't need an elaborate, expensive planner. You don't need complex software. You need 5 minutes. Just 5 focused minutes. To do what 90% of people won't do. To do what the majority neglects. Look at your day before it starts. Before the world pulls you in. And ask yourself these critical questions. What matters most today? What is the single most important thing I need to accomplish? What will truly move the needle forward on my most significant projects or goals? What do I need to finish by the end of the day to feel like this day was a win? A genuine win. A day where I made meaningful progress. If you don't ask those questions, if you skip that crucial planning phase, here's what inevitably happens. You spend your whole day reacting. You're constantly putting out fires. Responding to external stimuli. You answer emails that didn't matter. Emails that could have waited. Or emails that weren't even for you. You scroll mindlessly through feeds. When you should have been creating. When you should have been building. When you should have been focused on your core work. You put out fires you didn't even start. You get pulled into other people's emergencies. Other people's crises. And you confuse being busy with being effective. Being busy is easy. Being effective is hard. Activity does not equal progress. You can be running around frantically all day, responding to every ping and notification, and still end the day feeling utterly empty, exhausted, and no closer to your goals. Effort without direction, without a clear plan, without a strategic focus, is a great way to stay in the exact same place for years. To feel like you're working hard, but getting nowhere. You have 1,440 minutes in a day. That's a finite number. An absolute limit. You don't need to control every single one of them. That's an unrealistic expectation. But if you don't control the first 60, if you let that crucial first hour slip away, the rest of the day will undoubtedly slip out of your hands. Before you even realize it. Before you have a chance to course correct. Think about a builder. A construction worker showing up to a job site. With no blueprint. No architectural plans. They've got all the bricks. All the tools. All the raw materials. But no clear vision. No defined structure. What happens? They waste enormous amounts of time. They make countless mistakes. They build the wrong thing. They realize their error. Then they have to tear it all down. And start all over again. That's precisely. Exactly. How most people live every single day of their lives. Building without a plan. Reacting without a purpose. Now picture this alternative. A different scenario. A powerful shift. You wake up. You take a deep, intentional breath. You sit down. With a pen. And a piece of paper. You don't touch your phone. Not yet. You don't open your inbox. You create a sacred space for clarity. You write, with unwavering focus. What are the 3 most important things I must accomplish today? Just 3. Your absolute, non-negotiable priorities. Then, and this is crucial, you block time for them in your schedule. You literally carve out dedicated slots. You give them a place. A sacred reservation. In your schedule. Not just in your imagination. Not just a fleeting thought in your head. Because what gets scheduled, what gets designated a specific time and place, gets done. It moves from intention to execution. And what stays in your head, what remains an abstract idea, usually stays there forever. It never materializes. It never becomes real. You think design is just for logos? For the sleek lines of a house? For the cut of clothes? No. Design is for your minutes. For your hours. For your decisions. Because your life, your entire existence, is the sum total of how you spend your days? And your days, they are made up of moments. Moments you either consciously planned, or moments you simply surrendered to whatever came your way. Here's a powerful trick. When designing your day, don't aim for perfection. Perfection is a mirage. It's unattainable and paralyzing. Aim for clarity. Even if everything doesn't go exactly your way. And it won't. Life is unpredictable. At least you know what your way looks like. At least you have a North Star. A clear direction. And that alone, that single act of clarity, puts you ahead of 95% of the population. It gives you an undeniable advantage. Planning isn't rigid. It doesn't box you in. It's power. It's freedom. It gives you the ability to navigate. Designing your day doesn't make you robotic. It makes you intentional. It makes you deliberate. Because when the inevitable distractions come, and they will, they are a constant force in our modern world. You already know what to say yes to. You have a filter. A clear criterion. And more importantly, you know what to say no to. You can politely, but firmly, decline tasks or requests that don't align with your predefined priorities. The world is full of people, tasks, and temptations. All of them trying to steal your attention, to fragment your focus. But none of them can take it. Not if you've already claimed it. With a plan. With a clear intention. With a defined purpose. The moment you wake up, your mind is at its sharpest. It's the peak of your cognitive performance. Not after your third coffee. Not after you've responded to a dozen emails. Not after endlessly scrolling through the world's chaos and negativity. No. Right at the very start. That's your golden zone. Your prime time. Your most potent period of mental energy. And what do most people do with it? They waste it. They squander this incredible resource. They use that fresh, powerful, clear-headed energy, their best mental real estate, to do the easiest tasks on their list. Tasks that require minimal thought or effort. They check email. They reply to texts. They reorganize their calendar, endlessly tweaking. They browse the internet. They scroll through social media. They read comments on posts. That's like using a finely crafted, razor-sharp samurai sword. A precision weapon designed for impactful action. To cut bread. It's a gross misuse of your most powerful tool. Your mind is a weapon. A precision instrument. And when you wake up, it's loaded. It's clean. It's ready. That's when you attack the big thing. The most important thing. The thing you've been avoiding. The one that keeps you up at night. The hard conversation you need to have. The strategic thinking that will unlock your next level. The deep work that requires sustained, uninterrupted focus. The thing that scares you. That stretches you beyond your comfort zone. That builds you into a stronger, more capable version of yourself. Because here's the truth. What's hard doesn't get easier later. It doesn't magically become less daunting as the day progresses. You just get weaker. Your energy depletes. Your willpower diminishes. Your focus becomes fragmented. Your energy isn't infinite. It's a finite resource that you spend throughout the day. Your focus is not permanent. It wavers. It fluctuates. It gets consumed. Every decision you make, every distraction you entertain, every interruption you allow, drains your mental battery. So by the time 3 p.m. hits, what's left? You're running on fumes. Your brain is exhausted. Your willpower is at an all-time low. And yet, paradoxically, that's when most people finally try to get serious. They wait until they're tired, distracted, stressed, and then they try to tackle the hardest task on their list. It doesn't work. It almost never works sustainably. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because they use their best hours, their most potent mental energy, on the smallest things, on the most trivial tasks, on the easiest distractions. You want to change your life? Fundamentally transform it? Flip that around. Completely reverse the process. Do the hard thing first. It doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. That's the entire point. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. The more you train yourself, consistently, to attack hard things early, the more your confidence grows. Exponentially. Because every single day, you are proving something powerful to yourself. An undeniable truth. I do the difficult when I'm strong. I don't wait until I'm weak. Laziness. That insidious enemy. It hides behind later. It whispers deceptive promises. I'll do it after I clean my inbox, which takes hours. I'll start it once I finish this errand, which can expand indefinitely. I'll get to it when I have more time, which never truly arrives. But more time won't help if you're out of energy. More time won't help if your brain is cluttered, if your willpower is drained. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to master the first hour. That precious, golden 60 minutes. When you put the hardest thing first, you free yourself from an enormous mental weight. It's like dragging a heavy, cumbersome bag around in your brain. A constant burden. A nagging thought. Once it's gone, once the difficult task is completed, everything else feels lighter. Your day picks up speed. You move faster. You feel lighter. You gain powerful momentum. And this doesn't just build productivity. It builds character. Because discipline isn't about doing what you love. That's easy. Discipline is about doing what you hate. And doing it early. Before your excuses even wake up. Before they have a chance to form in your mind. Most people walk around, perpetually waiting to feel ready. Waiting for inspiration. Waiting for a surge of external motivation. To tackle hard things. But readiness is a trap. It's a delaying tactic your mind employs. You don't wait to feel ready to climb a mountain. You just start walking. You don't wait to feel ready to write that uncomfortable email. Or make that challenging phone call. Or confront that deep-seated fear. You just do it. While you've still got the fire. While your energy is high. While your willpower is fresh. There's a powerful name for this strategy. Front-loading your resistance. Instead of dragging that heavy weight of resistance, that dreaded task, through the entire day, allowing it to loom over you, draining your mental energy, you hit it first. Immediately. You walk directly into the storm. You face it head on. And you come out stronger, more resilient, more capable. And guess what? Once you've done the hardest thing, you don't just feel productive. You feel powerful. You've beaten resistance
before it even had time to whisper its deceptive lies in your ear. You've crushed that insidious voice that says, "Not yet.
Later. You can put it off." You've trained your brain. You've conditioned it to associate early hours with execution, with action, not avoidance.
So stop treating your peak energy,
those precious morning hours,
like spare change,
like something you can casually toss away. Use it like capital. Invest it wisely.
Invest it where it gives the highest return.
Not in busy work. Not in fleeting dopamine hits. But in the mission. The purpose. The core goal that actually moves your life forward. That creates lasting impact. That builds the life you truly desire. In conclusion, let's distill everything we've discussed into a powerful, actionable framework. Laziness.
It doesn't stem from a lack of talent.
It's not because you're inherently less capable than others. It comes from a lack of structure, a lack of clarity, and a lack of purpose. If you truly want to destroy laziness,
to banish it from your life forever,
you don't fight it with guilt. You don't fight it with self-recrimination. You don't fight it with fleeting bursts of motivation. No. You fight it with a system. A powerful, intentional system. A system that puts you in motion. Before your excuses can even wake up.
Before they can formulate their deceptive arguments.
Start your morning. Every single morning. With intention. Not distraction. Begin by anchoring yourself in purpose. In your why. Not in your phone. Stack small wins. Early in the day.
To generate unstoppable momentum.
Move your body. Even briefly. To fire up your brain. To activate your entire system. Design your day.
Before it gets hijacked by external demands. Before it gets dictated by others.
And above all, tackle the hard things. The most challenging, most impactful tasks. While your energy is fresh.
While your mind is sharp.
Not after it's been drained by noise and nonsense. Laziness. That formidable foe. It doesn't stand a chance. Not when your first 60 minutes, your precious, foundational morning hour, are built on discipline, on clarity, and on motion. What you do each morning. The habits you cultivate. The decisions you make. They set the rhythm for your entire life. They dictate the tempo. They define the flow. You can't control every single outcome. Life is full of variables. But you can absolutely control how you start. And the way you start. The deliberate, intentional launch of your day determines everything that follows. If you want to win the day, if you want to dominate your goals, you must win the morning. And if you want to win the morning, you must own your habits.
You must take deliberate, consistent control of those critical first actions.
Because once you've taken control of your morning, once you've mastered those crucial first hours, laziness is no longer your identity.
It's no longer a defining characteristic.
It's just a faded memory. A ghost of a habit you've outgrown. You've evolved beyond it. You've transcended it. You are no longer bound by its limitations. You are a person of action. A person of purpose. A person who moves forward. Every single day. Now go. Go and own your morning. And own your life.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more exclusive success tips. Thanks you very much.